Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another retro gaming review. And now I'm bringing you the 1989 Tengen slash DoMark release of Hard Drivin for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. There was a 48K version, but I'm reviewing the 128K version here. The 48K version had absolutely no sound whatsoever during gameplay, whereas this version does. So a little bit of context: Hard Drivin came out in arcades, and it was quite different to any other driving game. It more accurately replicated driving a real car, at least as was close to it as possible at the time for an entertainment title in an amusement arcade. And even had a gear stick and a clutch, just like a real car. Obviously, the people were thinking, "There's no way a Spectrum would be able to cope with this," but DoMark wanted to give it a shot anyway. Obviously, they weren't going to bring across the pedals, so that was out of the question. But what did they manage to bring across? Well, we're about to find out. So, keyboard, I think. And you can choose whether to drive on the left or drive on the right. Well, I'm in the UK, so I'll drive on the left because that's what I'm used to. The keys are Q, A, O, P, W, and S, with which are accelerate, brake, left, right, shift up gear, and shift down gear, respectively. And so I can actually choose to have auto or manual. Just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to put it to auto, at least for now. Well, as you can see, the game uses vector graphics. Oh, damn it, to crash there. And notice how you even get the instant replays in this. I would have preferred it if there could have been a sound for the actual crash. I don't know why they didn't do that. Now, the steering works a bit like a real car. You have to... It's not arcade style. You have... See in the top... See just under the time, you've got that little bar. If it's centralised, then it means you've got the steering wheel centralised. Oh dear. Unfortunately, they didn't have analog sticks in these days, so it's a bit it's a bit tricky. So yeah. Well, considering how much the Spectrum's having to cope with, it's going at a pretty quick for a rate of knots. The dip. Did you see the sign that said dip there? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, as you probably noticed, the 3D is done in portions rather than in. Cool, I'm out to practice at this. I actually used to have this game when I had a real Spectrum. This is on emulation. So, as I said, I'm actually on the speed track. Shortly after the start, there would have been the option to go right and pick the stunt track. I'm not doing a very good job sticking on the left-hand side, but oh god. And you crash if you're off the road for when that counter finishes counting down to 0. Oh, pancakes! I thought I was going to just miss that. The instant replays are a nice touch, but I would have preferred it if there could have been sound for them as well as for actual gameplay. So, as I was saying about the steering, when that black line in the middle of that green bar below the time is in the middle, that means you've got the steering wheel centralised, and the further over to the left or right that little black line, which is currently in the near the middle, is then. Hey. Okay. I'm not quite sure what happened there. That car seemed to come out of new. And I'm about to run out of time, I think. Oh, God. Oh, poo. And the thing's just on the opposite side of the bridge. I am so out of practice at this. I actually had this on the real Spectrum back in the day. I don't remember struggling quite this much. I did eventually get the hang of it. Now I'm going to have a go at the stunt track. And this time I'm going to use manual shifter to see how I cope with that. I must be crazy. See, stunt track to the right, speed track, which I did last time. And you see the pieces of 3D are actually, sort of joined together. And were this to be the original arcade version or 16-bit versions, that barn which I just drove past on my left would have had a cow next to it, and in all of the aforementioned 3 versions, that cow would have gone if you ran it over. There's no cow in the 8-bit versions, unfortunately. Oh God, I forgot I need to manually shift up gears. Oh goodness me, this is hard. Oh no, whoa. I think I'm going to crash. Yes, I'm going to crash. Well, that's a very good impression of of Turbo Boost from Kit from Knight Rider, but unfortunately I needed to be a bit more levelled out in preparation for going across that bridge. 60. Right, hopefully that'll do a bit better. At least I'm more. Shit! God, I thought I was going to crash then. Oh my God. Loop the loop. The frame rate isn't great, but it could have been a lot worse considering how much the Spectrum's having to put up with. God, I actually did that first time. Oh shit! Shit! No. God, I didn't crash. He says, and then crashes straight into a car. Oh, it looks like I actually have to go through the gate properly in order to get the time extension. Oh, you bloody having a giraffe! I got to do the loop again. I got past that. Why can't I put the checkpoint a bit? Oh bloody hell! Ah! The controls are really hard to get used to. Even if you're familiar with driving a real car, you may well struggle with this. It just isn't suited. Yeah, graphic does break. The loop does break up. Oh, you absolute wanker! It had to be a car just exiting off there, just as I was. Ah, now I've got to do all that again. There's no way I'm going to complete this in time. No, game over. I know it's hard to read, but that did say game over. Now I'm just going to do the stunt track one more time, this time with auto shift. So as I said, the frame rate isn't brilliant, but considering what the Spectrum's having to cope with, it's surprising that you might be surprised it's even going as fast as this. And this isn't just a case of emulation improving it. I do remember it being this rapid even on a real Spectrum, even on the 48K. No. So you actually have to think ahead of when to start steering in this. And the game crashed. But I think we're going to wind up the review there, since you've seen most of what the game has to offer. One thing I didn't get to do is, if you manage to complete that initial run through, then I think it was 2 laps, or where you could choose. I think you had to do the speed and stunt in either order, but you could choose. I think that was it. It's been a while since I've played it, but if you did that, then you would race against this ghostly car called the Photon, and it would emulate the performance of the previous best lapper. So if you managed to defeat the Photon by passing the finish line before the Photon did, then next time you raced against it, it would be doing exactly what you did. So you'd end up racing against yourself in a way. So that's Hard Driving for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Valiant attempt to bring the arcade original onto the humble Spectrum. Graphics, well, because there's several squares of road and the like joined together, there are noticeable slight gaps between them. It's particularly noticeable in the loop when the graphics appears to break up a little. But if it helped to keep the speed up even just a little, then I guess that's an easy enough sacrifice to make. And it's actually quite surprising that we saw quite a bit of detail on things like the barn, for instance. You saw detail on the door and windows and the like. So they're fairly good 3D models for their time. I know that people who are used to the current generation consoles and like will probably be laughing at the graphics in this, but that was as good as it was possible to get with 3D graphics on 8-bit computers in the late 1980s, I'm afraid. So there wasn't really an awful lot that could be done about that. The limitations of the hardware, and not to mention available memory, were also were what effectively made things more of a challenge in terms of 3D graphics, especially vector graphics and solid field graphics like you just saw. But sound, well, you've got a reasonable. You've had that music at the beginning. You've got a reasonable enough sound for the engine. I would have preferred it if there could have been a sound for crashes and during those instant replays. Apart from that, the sound is as much as could be expected for a Spectrum. Gameplay, this is unfortunately where it's going to fall down. You really need to start steering ahead of when you might think. Don't think like an arcade racer, otherwise you'll be going all over the place. And it does take a lot of practice before you're driving even remotely competently, and even then you'll still struggle a bit because you're using keys or very simple joystick. They didn't really have analog sticks in those days. That's why they had to have that compromise with that steering indicator just below the time clock on the main display there. So, and the frame rate isn't great, but again, it was as good as could be expected given the limitations of the hardware. And it's certainly not as slow as a lot of people worried it was going to be. It's just the fact that the car's so damn hard to control with either a keyboard or the simple joysticks available for use for the Spectrum. So I'm going to give Hard Driving for the Spectrum 6 out of 10. It's just really the controllability of the car that lets it down. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that review. Sorry that it crashed. I guess something really, really weird happened that caused that to happen. So Techie88 out.